Welcome back, it's JWalter here. There's more good news for home buyers right now because housing inventory has been increasing every single week according to Realtor.com. This is a new report they actually just announced a couple of days ago. Actually, they reported it today at the time of this video. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing the latest housing market trends according to this latest report. So if you guys get any value out of today's video, then of course, please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And hope you guys are having an awesome day, by the way. So let's go ahead and dive right into this video here. This is again according to Realtor.com. They just released this today at the time of this video, which is the 2nd of June. And this is for data for the week ending May 28th of this year. So the number of new listings increased by 2% this week compared to 1 year ago. It says seller confidence amid record high home prices is driving the growth in the number of sellers this year over last year, which we've seen in 8 out of the last 9 weeks. So we're starting to see this trend with more new listings compared to last year, which is a positive sign in this housing market if you are looking to buy a house. And this is a contributor to rising overall numbers of houses for sale. So think of housing inventory as a bathtub. When you fill that bathtub up with water, that would be new listings. So all the new listings become part of all of the active housing supply or all the number of houses for sale. When a house goes pending, when a home seller accepts an offer from a home buyer, that basically is water going down the drain, which decreases the level of the water. In other words, it decreases the supply of houses for sale. If we want to see a more housing supply, we should see more new listings or less home buying demand. So if we have less home buying demand, that's going to be increasing housing inventory because houses are going to be sitting on the market for a longer period of time. Also, if we have more new listings on top of that, that should increase housing supply as well. So what we're seeing right now is just that. We're seeing more new listings and also home buying activity decrease, which is causing total active inventory or housing supply to increase compared to 1 year ago. So one reason why we're seeing more new listings hit the market is because seller confidence is basically at an all-time high. This is according to Fannie Mae, their most recent survey that was actually just published on May 9th of this year. And according to this monthly survey by Fannie Mae, 76% believe it's a bad time to buy a house right now. This is also a survey high, the highest levels they've seen since they started this survey. However, approximately 74% believe it's a good time to sell, and only 21% believe it's a bad time to sell. Because we're seeing this sentiment with a lot of home sellers thinking it's a good time, or a lot of homeowners thinking it's a good time to sell their houses, a lot of people are listing their houses for sale, and this is one reason why we're seeing more new listings, right? So the number of new listings is actually increased by 2% from 1 year ago. We're also seeing more active inventory or housing supply as well. That actually rose 11% this last week compared to 1 year ago. And it says here, in a few short weeks, we observed a significant turnaround in the number of houses available for sale or housing supply, going from essentially flat at the beginning of May to an 11% increase in their most recent stats, which is last week's data here. And this is helping rebalance the housing market. However, housing supply is down 50% compared to the beginning of this pandemic though. So in other words, home shoppers continue to see historically low number of houses available for sale. So obviously we need a lot more houses to be listed for sale if we're still down 50% pre-COVID. However, this is a step in the right direction though. So have a look at this. Here's the number of new listings. We're down 1% year to date. However, for the week ending May 14th, we're actually up 6%. The previous week, we were actually only up by 4%. So we basically went from 4% increase to 6%, another 6% increase for this week. And for the last week of May, we have an increase by 2%. However, look at the trend line for active listings, which is housing supply. We're still down 15% year to date. However, we have a 5% increase for the week ending May 14th. By the way, the previous week, which is the first week of May, it was basically flat. So we basically had the same number of houses for sale for the first week of May in 2022 compared to the first week of May in 2021. So this trend has been increasing though every single week for at least the past 4 weeks. So for the week ending May 14th, up 5%. The next week, up 9%. And the most recent week we have right now, up 11%. And this is the biggest year-over-year gain observed by Realtor.com ever since it began posting weekly housing market stats back in 2017. The downside of this housing market right now is that houses are still selling very quickly, and of course, home prices are increasing as well. So the average days in the market is still 6 days faster for this week compared to 1 year ago. So we're 6 days faster from 1 year ago. Also, the median list price, which is the median asking price of a house that gets listed for sale, is up 18.2%. However, though, according to Realtor.com, they said as home buyers have a greater number of houses to choose from, we expect the competitiveness of this housing market to subside and homes to spend more time on the market. That makes sense because if housing supply increases and we have less and less home buying activity or less and less demand from home buyers, we should expect to have more normalcy in our housing market. Houses should spend more time on the market. We should expect to see more price reductions and less competition for those houses that do get listed for sale. And as it says here, as the housing market shifts, sellers' expectations can get ahead of buyers' willingness to pay, and before asking prices adjust, we may see price growth soften. In fact, despite remaining in double-digit territory, growth in the median sales price among existing home sales has slowed recently. So what we're seeing right now is sellers and home buyers, their expectations is not in line. Home sellers are looking at record high home prices, yet home buyers right now are looking at affordability challenges due to record high home prices and of course rising mortgage rates. Therefore, what I would expect to see is that if home buying demand continues to decrease, which I anticipate it will, we should see housing supply or active inventory increase as well. And this should cause more price reductions and therefore a softening of home prices. And so they went on to say the following in this report here. The median list price maintained a surprising amount of momentum this week, again up 18.2% compared to 1 year ago. However, we're seeing signs of a growing gap between buyer and seller expectations in today's housing market. The median asking price may not be the earliest signal of shifting momentum. Our monthly measure of the share of sellers having reduced their asking prices, for example, rose from 1 year ago in March, April, and May. Even this measure remains lower than historically normal though, but the fact we're seeing a growing number of houses for sale is showing that the tide is turning. Meanwhile, Redfin reported today that home buyers regain some control as supply grows and demand pulls back, and more than 1 in 5 home sellers drop their asking prices. So in other words, over 20% of home sellers are dropping their asking prices in order to attract a home buyer right now. And more on that later. I'll make a separate video about this latest report from Redfin very, very soon. And according to Freddie Mac's chief economist, he had this to say. Heading into the summer, the potential homebuyer pool has shrunk, supply is on the rise, and the housing market is normalizing. This is welcome news following unprecedented market tightness over the last couple of years. So in other words, we've seen record low housing inventory over the past couple of years, and of course, record low mortgage rates, and that has caused a housing market frenzy, and of course, for home prices to reach all-time highs. So please leave me a comment below with what you're seeing in your neck of the woods. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and look forward to seeing you in the next video.